and Stu are on the air.
Ready? Right.
Whether you're fading with Drew or riding with Cam, this is the place to get your weekly NFL picks. Presented by Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook.
Everything you got, let's go.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Drew and Stu of the Week 2 show. Cam, once again, this is powered by Sports Interaction. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN for all the latest NFL odds and best plays. Cam, I want to start this off apologizing to the viewers. I said on the show on Tuesday that McVay owns Shanahan. I meant the other way around. I confused it in my head. Shanahan owns McVay. I just like the Rams because they're 3 of their last 4 games in LA between these two teams were within 3 points. So that's why I thought this was too big of a number. But yes, I know McVay is owned by Shanahan. It was a mistake. And as well, you also said something.
Yes. All right. So Philadelphia, I meant NFC champions who went to the Super Bowl. I said Super Bowl. We all know the Chiefs won.
It's a little slip up, people.
So here's the thing. We make mistakes, but Drew, you're the guy who edits this stuff. You're the quick finger guy. So sometimes these things get. The problem is sometimes we don't have enough space to do it together. So it's that's on us. So we apologize. Listen, people. Me and Drew, Drew's known me for a while. I can get pretty stupid sometimes. So we apologize, little slip ups, but we're also doing a lot of stuff. But anyway, what do we say?
It's all good. So we're going to talk about our week 2 picks. Our week 2 picks were on Tuesday. You can go back and watch that show. It's on SDPN's YouTube channel as well.
No, you just said we made mistakes on the show, right?
Well, no.
But yes, now we've
talked about but you can go watch if you want. It was only 2 little mistakes.
Okay.
But we're here to switch some of our picks after the updated injury reports and everything like that. Like Christian Watson's out, Aaron Jones likely out, Austin Eckler likely out, Ravens secondary's banged up, Puka Nakua's probably not playing. It's a bunch of injuries across the league, Cam. So let's start off with you. What's one of the games from Tuesday that you selected that you're thinking about switching heading into Sunday?
Well, Drew, I don't do this very often, and I really like this team, but Baltimore's got some serious problems heading into this game. I know Cincinnati was really, really bad, and I was on Cleveland that week, and they murdered them. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a lot better this week. Something was wrong, but this is the thing. Baltimore, they got major, major problems, and I think Cincinnati, the way they lost, they're going to have a game plan for them. So I'm going to take the Bengals in this spot. I think they win the game probably by 7-10. And so I'm switching from Baltimore to Cincinnati as my first switch.
Yeah, part of me saying I need to switch that as well. But then the other part of me is like, no, it's still the AFC North. It's still a divisional matchup. Like they almost beat them with Tyler Huntley. Like who cares about the secondary injuries? But at the same time, like you think Burrow, Chase, and Higgins and these guys are going to lay another egg. I'm going to stay on the Ravens just because of the divisional matchup, Cam, in the 3.5. If it was 3, I'd maybe switch, but I'll stay on it for now. I'm probably going to regret this on Sunday. One of the games...
We have a lot of regrets in life, so
it's true.
Don't worry about it. Hey, think about it. All the games, guys, too, both mentioned. So I got off a game. I switched last week. See, sometimes switching, Drew, we'll see how this goes. Remember, I told you I got a good feeling about Arizona with Dobbs as quarterback.
And you didn't switch it.
They cover. Yeah, and then I go, I'm going to switch from, what was it, Tampa Bay to Minnesota. Tampa Bay wins outright. So sometimes your first instinct, people, is your best instinct. But I just feel like this game, I think Baltimore is just the way Cincinnati played week 1, and I think they got to respond. They have to respond in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore did not look great overall. If they weren't playing the Houston Texans, they probably would lose the game. But I think both teams wake up for this one. It'll be close, but you'll probably be on the right side in that one. One of the games I'm switching, Cam, the Rams to the 49ers.
Like it.
I like the Rams. I explained why. 3 of their last 4 home games between these teams in LA were within 3 points. The Rams are so banged up. Like Puka Nakua is likely not playing. So now their number one option besides Kupp is also gone. So it's Van Jefferson and Tutu Atwell. I just don't think they can score enough points to hold these 49ers in check. Seattle should have been able to take advantage of the Rams secondary, and they couldn't. It didn't help that the Seahawks front or O-line was banged up like crazy. But I think Stafford's in some trouble, and I think San Fran could blow them out of the water in this one, Cam. In a neutral site, actually, likely, there's probably going to be more 49ers fans in LA, right?
That's the problem when you're dealing with the Rams and Chargers. Their home field advantage means nothing. Other teams travel, and even the same for Vegas, because Vegas has a team and all these other guys come to Vegas for the weekend, kind of like in hockey, right, Drew? Like your team goes, let's have a guys weekend in Vegas and go watch our team play. That happens a lot. So yeah, you got to look at those markets. Like I prefer taking teams like the Chargers, Raiders, and Rams on the road. As for that Seattle game, I just want to reiterate, guys, I'm a huge Seattle Seahawks fan since I was like a child. And they did not play in this game. They did not, there was nothing. There was no effort. DK Metcalf talked about it. Pete Carroll wasn't even ready. Nobody was prepared. They thought they could just steamroll the Rams. But the problem is, it's the National Football League. Anybody can win. So Seattle didn't show up. That's a lesson learned. You can't just show up and thinking you're going to kill your opponents. And weird things happen in this league, Drew. I expect the Niners, though, they're not the team to take the pedal off the metal. I think they win this game by like 17.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm big time switching that one. Cam, do you have another switch for us this week, or are you just sticking with the rest of the picks?
You're not going to believe this one, Drew. It's actually shocking. I'm taking one of my cats out of the litter.
Whoa.
And I'm putting in Mr. Chief. I'm going hunting with my bow and arrow here. Going to go look
for
big
Cameron
hunting.
Stewart is betting on the Chiefs as a favorite. Are you feeling okay?
No, I'm not, Drew. Actually, it's been a crazy week, but I will say I just thought about this game. KC is a horrible bet when they're huge favorites.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. But this number is a reasonable number. They burned money last year. We were both on Detroit against Kansas. We were on Detroit too. Were you not?
Nope. Oh. KC was one of my favorite picks. Cam was my only best bet I got wrong.
Drew, hey, I had a bad week, so I'm not coming. Anyway, Drew knows I fade Kansas City with big numbers all the time, but here's the deal. They lose to the Lions outright. Jacksonville's been talking squawk like they've already beat this team and are going to the Super Bowl. Even though I like this team, they need to settle down. They almost lost to the Indianapolis Colts. Very lucky to win that game. Kansas City, Kelsey's back, correct. They're going to have some weapons. I don't care. Kansas City by a touchdown. I'm switching from my Cats to the Chiefs.
I like the switch, Cam. As you know, I like the Chiefs this week. I think they'll blow them out of the water here. Chris Jones back, Travis Kelce back. You get an angry Mahomes and Andy Reid coming off a loss. And surprisingly, I couldn't see any props for Kadarius Toney yet. But whatever his receiving line is, I'm betting the over because I know the way Andy Reid and Mahomes work. They're going to be feeding Toney to get him back in his headspace. You see this guy's message on Instagram, deleted his Twitter. He's calling people idiots on social media. I was like, this guy needs to get his head back in the game. He needs a good game to get the fans off his back.
There's another thing as a professional athlete. Sorry, Drew. Just don't go on Twitter and listen to people.
I know.
You're getting paid tons of money to do nothing. Like, honestly, don't have a Twitter account. Like, I don't, if I was a professional player in any league, and it's not, and I love people, you know me, I go down to bars, I meet people, I love to talk to people on the street and stuff. But honestly, if you're a professional athlete, you either have to have, if you're on Twitter, thick skin or don't do it. Don't react to people. You got a job to do. You can't listen to, you know, how many times people come at us, oh, Cam, your picks suck. Drew, you're like, you know what? Who cares? It's life, and that's the business. Yeah, people love to trash people. That's the way it is.
People are assholes, Cam. They like to generally did you see the message?
Well, I don't think people are assholes. I think they hide behind computers, and then when you meet the person in person,
fake usernames.
Yeah. Like
when
you see an egg avatar, you're already like, who are you?
The best when people talk trash to me, I'll get a DM on Instagram or something like that, and then I reply, I'm like, oh, hey, thanks for watching. And then all of a sudden they're a nice person. Like when they see that you saw the message, they're like, oh shit, he actually responded.
We do appreciate it. Like that's the thing. Like, and guys, we're gonna make mistakes. Like if we're picking NFL games, the NFL is probably the toughest league to cap. Like I know guys who are wicked gamblers who struggle with this league. So anyway, it's tough, and we'll try to do our best, and we appreciate it. But yeah, if we have a losing pick, that's just the way it is. We're gonna have lots of losers this year. Trust
100%. Did you see what happened with Stephon Diggs in the open mic? Speaking of people speaking with the mic at the Bills practice, did you see that?
What happened?
One of the reporters said they were like, hey, can you go get Stephon? And she was like, oh, I can't get Stephon. He'll just say F you to my face and all this stuff on a hot mic. And she apologized and she said she was joking. It's a disaster. Steph took to Twitter.
Dude, that whole Bills situation, thank God, Allen fed Diggs. Imagine he didn't get any touches the first week, even though they lost. The situation's imploding, but it's funny. We're both on the Bills. I think the Bills, if they can't murder the Raiders this week, I'm expecting a 13 to 17 point win. If they can't beat the Raiders by double digits, I don't know what to think.
So I was on the Raiders, Cam. That's my second switch of this show, is switching from the Raiders to the Bills. After watching the McDermott, Dorsey, and Allen press conferences on Wednesday, they're calm, they're cool. Dorsey said, I'm just gonna get the running game going with Allen. That's how to snap him back into it. And Josh Allen's I forgot about Sunday already. You got to forget in this league all this stuff. Or Monday night, sorry. So yeah, I like that he's wiping it from his mind. And I think it's going to be a lot of easy plays, little catches like that. And I could see him going for 3 touchdowns, Cam. And the prop's still only 1.5 TDs for Allen. You usually see 2.5 in games like this. So that's a prop.
Rushing prop.
Rush prop still 36.5. I think that might go under though. I think it might be.
You think he's just going to stay more in the pocket and stop screwing? But he'll escape for first downs. He could break one, but
yeah, I just don't know if he'll need to with this Raiders defense.
Yeah, maybe the Bills just need to start just execute. I don't care. Talk about the Raiders. Worry about yourselves. But I have one thing to say. It was funny. Gabe told me this last night, and I gained a lot of respect for Nick Saban. Know what he said to the players? They lost to Texas over the weekend. He goes, "You could be happy for 24 hours when you win, And when you lose, you could be sad for 24 hours, then it's over. You got
Exactly.
one day, focus. And that's the way most teams would be. You can't let thoughts linger in your head and stuff. It's just bad. Buffalo's got to really get the demons out this week.
And the best is I'm watching all the sports talk shows Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, and just everyone's like, "Oh, Allen's now the 20th ranked quarterback in the league," and stuff like.
Whatever.
You had him as the 3rd ranked quarterback a day ago, but now because one bad game on Monday Night Football, he's all of a sudden he's worse than Jared Goff. Like, okay, come on, guys. But yeah, anyways, that's besides the point. So I'm switching from the Raiders to the Bills. Cam, do you have any more switches before we get into the props?
Should have used somebody else. Goff's fine. He's a friend of the program.
No, yeah, I'm just saying he's like borderline.
Allen is like we've talked about it. He's regressing a little bit with the mistakes, but he's got to figure it out.
Still, Cam, that's what I'm saying. When he's playing bad, he's very bad. But when he's playing good, there's probably not a quarterback better in the league.
Oh, when he's on, he's on. Like
exactly.
other than Mahomes and Burrow, like yeah.
That's what I mean. So like he has that ceiling that not a lot of guys have. That's what I was trying to get at.
I understand. I see.
Do you have any other switches, Cam, or is that just the 2?
I was thinking about switching because the line's going to go up, but I got New England at 2.5. I guarantee by game time, Drew, it's probably going to be 3.5, 4. But I'm going to stay on. I'm going to stay on New England and see how they do. But this Miami team might be a juggernaut, but I'm not going to anoint them champions after 1 week and the Chargers gagging on defense.
Surprisingly, Tua's struggled against New England, but he's still 4-0 in his games as starter against the Patriots, which is like everything's saying you should bet Miami, except for the public money's all on Miami. Everyone's on Miami. I know sometimes the square bet wins, but you can't go with the public on here because Vegas isn't stupid, Cam. Vegas doesn't just give away money, right?
Well, here's another one. The Seattle Seahawks have injuries all over the line. I got them at, what did I get them at this show? I think 6.5. Like, I'm going to find the email because you sent me all the stuff.
You got them at 5.5.
5.5? Oh, I thought it was 6. Okay. Anyway, 6 is a little bit better than 5.5, but I'm going to say this. The line is now 4.5.
Yeah.
Who's betting on Seattle? Like they have so many injuries and stuff. So that game, I have a feeling it smells really, really weird, and we'll get to see if Detroit blows them out. That's the way it should be. But I'm betting Seattle just because it's
it was one of your favorite picks of the week. I think the only way you lose that bet, Cam, is the Detroit defensive line, and that's the only reason I'm on the Lions is because I'm worried about Geno being able to stand up with his backup right tackle and left tackle in.
It's a problem, but the thing is, I think Seattle, their DBs were young, and I think they took the Rams lightly, and I think they'll show up this week. And let's remember, Kansas City dropped a lot of passes in that game versus Detroit.
Oh, yeah, they should have won.
Seattle can catch the ball, and they got to get Smith and Jigma in there. Like, that's the whole thing. They got to have a game plan and, like, make it very difficult for Detroit because that's one way you can exploit the Lions. I still think you can score points on them with the secondary.
Yeah, and you got to get the running game going again. Just keep feeding Walker and Charbonnet if you have to, whatever. Okay, Cam, let's get into our props of the week brought to you by Sports Interaction again. Last week we did pretty well. Besides Jahan Dotson letting me down and Brock Purdy, Cam, I said he didn't have that many rushing yards all last season. It was like 3rd and 18. This guy takes off for 14 yards, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
His prop is so low this week, isn't it? Like 6.5 or something.
It was 5.5 last week. That's why I like the under still because he doesn't run. But then there was that random broken play that he decided to run, and that just ruined the whole prop. So I'll stay away from it this week. I'll start, Cam, with my. I have 6 props for the show. My first one, it's Josh Allen over 256 yards passing. That's too low for me against the Raiders. I think he could go for 280 to 300. We see it against bad teams. He usually does well. So give me over 256 yards passing for Josh Allen. What is your first prop?
My first prop is probably not a popular one, but I'm going to say this. Justin Fields played like junk last week, and he still ran for 59 yards. I think now they were too limited. He's going to take off. They're going to have special plays for him. And I believe this week he will bust a big one. Like he might get that on one play. I see like a 55, 60-yard touchdown run against Tampa Bay. His total is 60.5. I know it's high, but I think the Bears are going to do anything. Every trick in the book this week. He's going to run the ball even more. Like that's the thing, Drew. He didn't even play well and he ran for 59. You know this guy. He can go off for 100 if he breaks a run. I know it's very, very high. People are like, Cam, are you crazy? It's 60.5, but I think he actually hits the century mark. Give me Fields over this week. Yeah,
and the fact that Tampa's defensive line is very good, so they might be in the backfield a lot, which could make him take off. Which could, I don't like the Bears receiving props this week, that's for sure, because I think Fields will be running for his life. But yeah, that could result in a lot of rushing yards. So I kind of like that bet, Cam.
Thank you.
My second one is Derrick Henry over 15.5 yards receiving. He's been over that all the time, Cam, and even just over it last week on 2 catches. He took a 50-yard pass against the Saints. I think it's too low, Cam. He catches one screen. It's Derrick Henry. You're not tackling him in the open field. He can easily get over this number on 1 catch. So give me Henry over 15.5 yards receiving. And we saw how bad the Chargers defense was last week, Cam. This isn't the Saints defense, which he already went over against. So give me Derrick Henry over 15.5 yards.
I like it, Drew. I love your props. I'm actually going to take another one. I found plus 180. Let me see here. Dameon Pierce, running back, Houston Texans. I think the Texans against the Colts are in a really good spot. I know a lot of people will probably take Anthony Richardson for a touchdown against them because all he does is run. But I'm telling you, I told you I love Houston this week. I know it's insane, but it's one of my favorite plays of the week. Yeah, you're right. It's not insane. It's just kind of a bad team versus bad team. But yeah, Pierce at that number, goal line touch, give it to me. Plus 180. I think he gets in the end zone versus Indy.
His prop's only 52.5 rushing yards too, so you probably like that as well.
I will add that. Throw another log on the fire. Give it to
me. My next one, Cam, Joe Mixon over 53 rushing yards. He had over this last week against the Browns in a blowout when they were throwing most of the game. So sign me up with the Ravens injuries. I think they can get the run game going, and 53.5 yards for former premier running back. He's still pretty good. I just think that's too low of a number when there's not really a backup running back stealing carries from him.
I agree with that. It's actually funny. I'm going to stay in the same game as my next pick. Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown, plus 100. Listen, it could be Higgins, it could be other guys, but you know what? Chase is the guy. I think Burrow and him, LSU combo, are going to figure it out this week against a beat down Baltimore defense. I wouldn't be shocked if Chase had 2. I think he gets 1, even money, plus 100. Sign me up.
Yeah, I like these anytime touchdowns, Cam. If you parlay them all together, it'll probably be like 200.
I had a good one last week with Robinson, the law firm of Brian Robinson and Bijan Robinson last week. That was fun. But I just think Chase, I would actually thought this line would be like minus 130 or something like that. I think it's a pretty good price for a guy that could get multiple touchdowns.
All right, my next one, Cam, one of the ones I really like this week, Isaiah Hodgins over 30.5 receiving yards. Listen, we know the Cowboys defense is unreal. We saw the pressure Daniel Jones was under. He is not facing the Cowboys. He's facing the Cardinals. Hodgins was still on for the most snaps of the receivers, got the most targets. He's still the number 1 receiver. You're giving me the number 1 receiver for a team going against the Cardinals at 30 yards? Are you kidding me? We just saw Dotson, who was the number 2 with a worse quarterback, and Sam Howell get 40. So I think this is a lock. Like I would bet this probably up to 50, Cam. So 30.5, I have to take Hodgins over 30.
Good price, Drew. We're agreeing on everybody's props. You know me, I like this anytime touchdown market, and I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. The Giants were horrible last week. He's plus 105. I think he is going to absolutely run wild on the Cardinals. I think the Giants are pissed. I'd probably look at Daniel Jones to go nuts too. Like after losing like that to the Cowboys, like they're going to be in a bad mood. Dable, he didn't take that loss very well. I expect a full effort from the Giants, and I think Barkley's going to get his plus 105 for Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown.
What do you think of the alt line on the Giants minus 9.5? Think I'm crazy for betting that?
I'll stick with the regular spread. We got enough problems, Drew. Let's just hit winners and then we'll worry about alt.
Well, I'm just saying I love the -4, but I'm just saying I might sprinkle a little on the alt line.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Like your parlay, you should tell the listeners with your free bet last night.
Oh yeah, $5 free bet. Hawkinson 2 TD and Hurts 2 TDs. The garbage time Hawkinson TD won me $600 on $5. I'll take it.
Damn, great pick. I had Hawkinson over receptions and touch. He was like, that's the one thing about Hawkinson. He's not a great blocker. He's an animal when he's such a good tight end for catching the ball and like he's one of my favorites actually. If he could block better, I think he'd be like Kelsey-esque.
He's still a top 4 tight end in the league.
I agree.
So what do you think of, actually, speaking of the Vikings, getting some rumors now this morning about Kirk Cousins to the Jets, since Kirk Cousins is an expiring free agent, or his contract is expiring, so he's going to be a free agent in the offseason. The Jets have a very good team. Vikings are 0-2. At what point do they start exploring trade options for Cousins? Like that, that's like 0-4 or 0-5. Like
I don't know. All I know is this: I'm going to defend Kirk Cousins like I've done in the past.
Oh, he played fine last night. If this team doesn't fumble, they win the game.
It's not just that. That's the whole thing. It really bothers me. People, it's like you're like, oh, this quarterback sucks. Daniel Jones sucks. Yeah, because the Dallas Cowboys had a half a second to hit him every play. That's not his fault. That's the offensive line's fault. Learn the damn game. And I'll tell you something, man. Kirk Cousins, he had time. He was picking these guys apart. The turnovers
with no time. No time. It was like 1 second throws.
With no time. So Kirk Cousins is not about, honestly, Kirk Cousins to the Jets with that defense, that'd be scary. The guy's still a good quarterback. I don't like.
Am I crazy to say that I'd be more scared of that than Aaron Rodgers?
I'm going to say this. and people are going to like think I'm insane. I would rather have Kirk Cousins as my quarterback than Aaron Rodgers.
Today, like as of right now, 100%.
Just saying. Aaron Rodgers looked old. He's brittle. Kirk Cousins can still sling it, man. The guy, he's great on the long ball. He's actually can elude pressure sometimes. Like, sure, he'll make a dumb decision every once in a while, but you know what? That's life. Kirk Cousins is all right, man. And
he's like
players really let him down.
The most underrated top 10 quarterback I've ever seen. I think like he's solid. I would be terrified of the Jets if they got Cousins. That's for sure, Cam. If they make that happen, watch out, NFL. I just don't know, like, what do they trade? Like, and can you imagine Justin Jefferson if they do that? He's like, I want out of here. Like,
well, the Vikings got to keep Kirk Cousins. So let's put it this way: they lost a game they should have won against Tampa Bay due to screw ups, and they lost a game they should have won versus freaking Philadelphia because they fucking fumbled the ball. The Vikings should be 2-0 instead of 0-2, and I was down on them. That offense is prolific. And their defense actually, you know what?
They just need O-line help.
They do. That's exactly. You know what? That's the thing. At first, I'm like, yeah, the defense is improving. They need an offensive line. Good call.
Yeah.
Drew.
And what do you think? Okay, so what do you think? This is trending on Twitter right now. The touchback rule with Jefferson fumbling out of the end zone. Stupidest rule in football, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. If he fumbles at the 1 yard line, it's still the offensive ball, first and goal at the 1. Why is it 1 extra yard? All of a sudden, the defense takes over at the 20. I understand that's the rule,
no. If the ball's fumbled through the end zone, the other team gets it. Hold on to the damn ball. They already make it easy enough. If in my league, Drew, I'd have the whole ball going over the line to make it a touchdown, not touching the plane. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. Like in hockey, if it touches the line, it has to go over the line.
Yeah, the pylon TDs are fun though, Cam. That's why it's just like the tip of the ball over the pylon.
Yeah, it's not that fun if you bet on Minnesota last night, but I'm just going to say if you don't have control of the ball and it rolls through the end zone, the other team gets the ball. I think it should be the offense keeps the ball and it's at like the 10 yard line or something. Because why is 1 yard such a big difference, Cam? It's the only play in the league where the offense fumbles out of bounds and the other team gets the ball. It doesn't make any sense. True, he fumbled the ball into the end zone.
I understand. I'm just saying if he fumbles at the 1, it's still Minnesota's ball. Why is 1 yard make such a big difference? I understand the rule, Cam. I'm just saying it's a stupid rule.
I don't like this conversation at all. I like you though. You're a good guy, but I'm not going to argue this all day. I'm never going to change my stance.
All right.
If you don't have that control of the ball and it goes through, that's on you. Secure the damn ball. It's a turnover. Anyway,
I agree. It just seems like some nonsense CFL rule to me, but okay.
Hey, and no CFL bashing on our program either. All football is good football. Let's continue.
Okay, Chad Kelly, that boy.
Playing great, by the way. Wish
highest paid player.
Wish Denver had him as a second or third string quarterback. I was playing great.
Yeah, I can't believe they released him. Anyways, yeah. So my last prop, Cam. Nick Chubb over 12.5 receiving yards. He had 20 in week 1 when they were up the entire game against Cincinnati. There's no other options in the backfield for Cleveland. I think they're gonna have a struggling against the Saints. So I'd give me Nick Chubb to catch probably 4 passes. 20 or 12.5 yards is nothing. You can do that on 1 catch.
He could. I love your play. I'm going to go with, okay, what am I doing here? I am going to lay juice on one player, Austin Eckler, anytime touchdown minus.
Is he playing? He's probably not playing.
He's not playing? Okay.
Well, they're saying he's like iffy right now. It looks like Josh Kelly.
Okay, Margaret, I thought he was questionable, but I thought he was going to play. Scratch that one off.
Okay, so if he plays, you like the anytime touchdown, you're saying?
Yes. And I also like, I got one for you. Stevenson. New England over 51.5 rushing yards versus Miami.
Yeah, he doesn't have the flu anymore.
What?
I said he doesn't have the flu annmore. Last week he was sick. That's why.
I thought you were telling me he's not playing either.
No. I'm saying he's 100% now. I'm saying that's a good bet.
I just woke up here. I work overnights. Anyway, I like Stevenson over 51.5. And I'll do one more. And I almost want to take Breece Hall plus 260 versus Dallas. If the Jets are going to score, he's going to bust a run. But I'm not. Dallas's defense is good, but I think it's a very good price. And Gibbs plus 130 versus Seattle anytime touchdown.
Ooh, so you think they're going to use Gibbs more this week?
And I also like a DK Metcalf to bounce back at plus 185 for an anytime touchdown.
Well, he got a touchdown last week. I have a bet, Cam, on him to lead the league in receiving TDs. It was 38-1, I think. So I'm hoping.
Let's hope he gets 5 this week.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Well, hey, even if he gets like 15, he should lead the league. So
what do you think about another one too? Dawson Knox of the Bills over 24.5 receiving yards. That's real low.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know. Like,
okay, I'm just saying that I write these down and then I narrow them down. So I'm sticking with Stevenson over 51.5. Sorry, you scared me again. Eckler and Stevenson. I was just going to go for a walk. that's done. And yeah, I think we're done with the props.
And if Aaron Jones misses the game, Cam, give me AJ Dillon over everything. Every single prop, AJ Dillon. And anytime TD is probably plus 200.
The line in that game, it swung. It's now Atlanta minus 1.5. I got Atlanta plus. Did I get Atlanta plus 1.5 on the show?
Yes, you did. You got Atlanta plus 1 on Tuesday.
Oh, that was plus 1.5. Are you sure you didn't edit this email that you sent me with the original lines, Drew?
Yes, I have.
I got it.
Go watch the show, Cam. Go watch the Sam. Anyways, that was the props of the week brought to you by Sports Interaction. Visit sportsinteraction.com/SDPN to bet all of Cam's anytime props, bet all of my player props, and have a good time. We'll all win money together, right? That's what we want to do, Cam.
Of course. And we're sorry we make mistakes every once in a while. Bets are going to lose, bets are going to win. Just I hope you guys enjoy the entertainment in the show, and hopefully we'll win more than we lose. That's the whole goal of this.
And if we start losing more than we win, you just fade us.
Fade us. Exactly. I don't know why people say, look at these two losers from the Muppets, Waldorf and Stellar. Their picks suck.
Yeah, I understand that people are like, why would I take advice from this guy? It's like, well, if he's 3-13, why don't you just go against him then? Like, why you gotta
you ride the hot hand, you fade the cold hand, right, Drew? Do we need anything else? We have Survivor picks or
no? We gave Survivor, we gave Survivor, everything like that. That's a Cam.
So my minerals were Chicago, Houston, and Seattle. Correct?
Your what? Sorry.
My minerals, like as
your minerals were
it's Chicago,
Houston, and
Seattle. Right?
Seattle, correct.
Yeah, I should probably lose Seattle out of the minerals and put somebody else in there, but I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, you're going to stick with them until they break your heart this week, Cam, and everyone's going to be like, I told you, Cam, and you're going to hate it on.
I'm having a lot of people say the Seahawks are going to lose by 30 this week. It's been
so if they win by 15, you better victory lap in all these people's faces, Cam.
I just want them to cover. I'd prefer an outright win, but a cover would be a good start. Listen, if they cover and lose, I'll be a little bit disappointed because they didn't get the win. But if they win outright, I'm going to lose my mind. I'll be so happy.
Yeah. All right, Cam. Well, that's it for this one, everybody. We will see you in week 3. Hopefully, we do better than last week. Hopefully, we hit all of our mineral picks. Hopefully, we hit the best plays of the week, the props, everything you want. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Please download the audio version of this podcast because the video does better, surprisingly. And rate and review it on all your devices, all your platforms, please, because it helps me and Cam out and helps us make you a better show. Anyways, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week.
This has been Drew and Stu, presented by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook. Follow Drew at Producer Drew and Cam at Cam Stewart Live. May the winners be yours and all of the best bets hit.